Good morning. We got to bed quite late last night, and then we couldn't get back into the temple because it was all locked up. And then we ended up staying at someone's home, but it was very nice. We were still alive this morning, and we tried to press our reset button so that we get back on track and being the best version of ourselves. So, session 2 this morning, just read looking for guidance as well as to how to proceed. Whether we wait longer or not, or whatever we do. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Kristaya Bhutale Śrīmad Bhāgavatam Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisresha Sunyavari Pashyasudeshatamine. We were born in the darkest of ignorance, and our spiritual master is forcing us to open our eyes with the torchlight of transcendental knowledge. Lord, for our humble obeisance. Sila Prabhupada. So picking up from, we'll do a quick review of what we covered and just get an idea if you can remember some of the points. So we spoke at great length about the different stands. Can anyone remember? There's 3 stands or 3 aspects of this approach. Can anybody remember any one of the 3? It's notice something, it's yes.
You need to draw a line, something. Like set the standard, some line.
Boundary.
Some boundaries?
Yes.
Yes, clear boundaries.
Clear boundaries, so that's number 3. Clear boundaries. And the first stand or leg of this approach is
concentrating the energy on the positive and not giving energy to the negative.
Fabulous, you got both.
You got 2.
You got 2.
Top of the class.
So yeah, so refusing to energize negativity. We're not going to energize it. We're not going to put it's not time for the lectures, and it's not time for the repeated, it's bedtime, I've told you 5 times now, you really have to go to bed, and etc. And we're energizing the positive. We're looking to build a mountain of success for your child, your children, but we're going to start with a molecule, just a small thing, and we're going to make it more and more. Any other review points that we want to cover, Vimala? You think it comes up?
Well, we talked about the different approaches, like the liberal approach, the authoritarian approach, and the nurtured heart approach. So we just we covered those. But when I started teaching, I wanted to go the liberal way. I remember one teacher, a very experienced teacher, telling me, children must have boundaries. I'm thinking, no, I just want to love them. We'll have a wonderful, fun time in this class. Within a week, the kids had me. And then I realized, so I went a bit over the other way. You could go authoritarian, and that didn't feel good. But at least I had control, or I thought I had control. And it wasn't until you know my story that I found nurtured heart, that I found that balance.
Okay, so let's push into the second part because we only got. We only got to the end of the first session, and we haven't as yet shown you the techniques of how to do this, or how to make this approach work. So we'll go there, hopefully. Oh, it's this thing. I'm trying to do this.
There's only four, isn't it? 4 simple techniques and one about the boundary, just so you know. It's actually very simple, isn't it? But it's just the practicing of it that takes a little time. But so we're going to go through what we call recognitions. They're the 4 different types of recognitions.
And we may as well ask if anyone, we're up. Yeah. Can you hear pretty well now? Is it too loud out there? Or? Sorry?
It's good.
It's good, thank you. Very clear, thank you. All right. Where was I going there? I was going with it somewhere. Where was I going? Dash. Oh, yeah, what I was trying to ask. Is there any question that you have from the first session coming into this session that you'd really like to have answered? Then we can clear that and then go into the next session. So if you have anything, please feel free. Okay, you're all ready? Yeah, okay, done. Good morning. Hare Krishna. Okay, so the first one, the technique, is called active recognition. And we'll just explain a little bit about that. So it's more or less, we try to let the children know that they're being seen. Where's Chumana? Chumana here? No. Okay. Because this is the beginning, and in about half an hour's time.
So if just the children, if they could just, that's wonderful what they're doing, they're playing quietly, but just no talking. Can we ask them? They've got it? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and we'll see when Yamuna comes, maybe with someone who's outside that can play with the children and allow them to breathe, because children need to breathe. Okay, so where was I?
The first recognition.
Yeah. So, can you go and get Yamuna, please? Thank you. And see if you can come now and we can get this clear so that when you make a couple coming with children, you know, you're not one. We'll get it sorted.
Yes.
Krishna, Krishna, Hare.
Thank you.
Thank you, Krishna.
Thank you.
See you soon. See you soon.
Too cute.
So, the first recognition is to convey that the child is being seen. Often when we go into a room or come back home or in any situation, when the children are not causing a problem, they're not causing any disturbance, we don't acknowledge them. We pretty much ignore them. So this is the beginning of this shift in the way that we interact with the children, by just allowing them to understand that they're being seen. And you're just basically going to verbally repeat to the children, or let the children know. For example, Vimala, you might want to give me an example.
Yeah, we call it snapshots. So just think of it. You just see your child doing something, and it's got to be a positive action, like tidying up after them. They might be reading a book, just quietly reading a book. So you just describe it. I'll give you an example, an action example. Ram, I notice you've put away all your toys without being reminded. That's it. You're just energizing something they're doing right. And an emotional one, because emotions are there too, there's actions and emotions would be, and we have this with our grandchildren. I'll use them as an example. Murli and Srimati, you are playing so nicely together and cooperating, and you're not even arguing, because they're always arguing. you're not arguing, you're cooperating together. So that would be an example of a snapshot. Simple as that.
And it just has to be in that moment, like a snapshot is quick. It's in that moment you're seeing something.
Yeah.
Just like
these two boys here. Will you go? Okay, you go.
I was just going to say the same thing with the two boys that are sitting here.
Yep.
So I see you sitting and really trying to keep yourself, how would you say, absorbed in something. It's not causing a disturbance, and you're really doing that quite well. You're very peaceful, and you're acknowledging that there's a room full of adults, and you're like that.
Yeah, that's all you need.
That's all
It
I
doesn't
need
have to be long either, you know. You're sitting so nicely and you're letting all the adults hear. We have noticed.
Yeah, or if you come home at night and you see a child doing anything that's not causing a problem, and you just let them know, I see you sitting tidying your books for school tomorrow, or I see you doing whatever it is, and they get used to that, wow, I get seen, and I get that connection that we spoke about. They want that connection. So that's that part of it. And is there another part?
That's it.
Done.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's a simple one, snapshots. Remember, number one, snapshots. And the next level, you're going up a level. It's called active recognition. You're doing the same thing. Like, we'll just use the boys again. Thank you, boys. You boys are sitting together very nicely, you're playing quietly and letting the adults listen. That shows me how considerate you are. You add a quality or a value to it.
And you can say to the boys, do you know what considerate means?
Like being quiet?
Okay, so one of the boys went, and the other young boy said it's being quiet. So that's their translation of the word considerate. It means, in this context, it's being quiet. So well done, both of you. Good.
So you can teach language because you're teaching values. You know how we always want to teach our children values? Well, this is a practical way of teaching values.
And I just said something, I said, well done. So that wasn't very nurturing. It was a little nurturing, and the boys would have thought, oh, well done. That feels good. But if I could have added is it we on adding value now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're adding
So if we could have added a value, we could have said, instead of well done, we could have said, that shows me how intelligent you are and how clever you are to be able to work out what to do. And then they think, oh, I'm being seen as being intelligent and quite clever and all of that.
So that's number two. So we've got number one, snapshots. Number two, the snapshot, same thing, just add a value. That ups the level of their success. And that's what we're trying to do, create success. So that's a simple one.
And in some of the books that we will give you connection to from this Nurtured Heart approach, there's pages of vocabulary, of the words that you can pick up and begin to use. And you'll find that there's maybe hundreds of them, where you'll find your own 2 or 6 or 10 that you feel comfortable to use when you're nurturing your children. It's a bit of a learning curve for us as parents too.
Yeah.
So real values education. So standard values education attempts to teach values, and it teaches them when rules have been broken. That's the standard way. There's something you've done wrong, and this is the time to teach a value. You shouldn't have done this, you should do this. It focuses on the mistake. You made a mistake here, you didn't do it right, and we're going to teach you now. This is a good time to teach you. And it seems quite logical in one sense. You think, well, that's a good opportunity, but it's actually upside down. Delivering lectures, and over on this side, nurturing Krishna's children teaches values when the rules are being followed, not when they're being broken. We don't give the lectures when when values are being demonstrated, we show that the children are able to demonstrate those values. That's when we nurture them, and we energize moments of success rather than the mistakes and when rules have been broken. So going on to technique 3. So again, review. Who can tell us what's the first one? And whatever way you can say it, don't have to have the right words.
Snapshots.
Could you pop your hand up?
Snapshots.
Snapshots, okay. And what is a snapshot? Basically somebody else. What is a snapshot? So you guess?
Recognizing their positive behavior.
Yeah.
Yep.
Appreciating.
Thank you. Okay, and the second one?
Adding value to the positive behavior, like qualities, describing.
Fabulous. Well done. You said that so nicely. Yeah, adding value. Yeah, love it. A behavior quality. So we're on to 3. The third one basically has 1 and 2. And we're going to energize success moments when a problem is not occurring or when it typically could occur.
Yeah, this one is, you're notching up, you're digging deeper for the success. And for this little girl that I told you about, my little guru that helped me, Bhumi her name was, I had to find times when she wasn't doing what she normally did. So one habit she had was to pinch the little girl in front of her on that. And so,
And why do you think she was doing that?
to get attention, obviously. So before she had a chance, when they sat down, I would acknowledge her. Bhumi, you are sitting so nicely and you are not pinching dear. Great self-control. So that's called proactive, you see? So if your kids are normally fighting and you can jump in before they have a fight when they're playing nicely. Oh, you two boys are playing together so nicely. So that's called proactive, and it's very good for breaking negative patterns.
Okay, we've already covered that.
Yeah.
And recognize their wise choice and self-control. So that's the proactive recognition. Third one. And number 4 is creative recognition. So creative recognition, where we're attempting, because remember we've made a commitment to focus on energizing success. So we become, how do you say that? I'll use words, addicted. That's our purpose. That's what we're all about. That's the game we're playing. Is this game of finding any chance and opportunity to create success. So, one example, type of recognition, beginning of, yeah. So for example, in a school setting, there was one girl had decided to go to the blackboard. So at that time I was using chalk. It could be a whiteboard or whatever. So the child had gone there and I could see she hadn't been asked to go near to the board of things that were written up, so she was stepping out of what she should be doing. And I thought I could chastise her and say, sit down, don't touch the teacher's things on the board. But I thought, try and create success, because I knew this girl needed success. She was kind of, what would you say? She needed. Hare Krishna, I know you're looking after the children for a while.
Yeah,
Thank you so
good
much.
on you.
Where were we? Oh, so I knew she needed. So we use the word hijacked. I kind of hijacked the possibility. So as she was just getting to the board to do a wrong thing, rub out what the teachers put on the board, I said to her, wow, I forget her name, Julia or something. So Julia, that is amazing. You could see that I wanted to rub something out on the board. So could you just rub that little portion, which I knew didn't disturb the whole lesson that was on the board? And she walked straight into it and said, oh yeah. And she did that. And I said, that's really intuitive of you. You could see, you're so intelligent, you knew what I was. And she's thinking, wow, I was coming up to make a problem. and now it's transformed into a plus instead of a minus. So that's one example. You get something there.
Oh, I'm just thinking of, because I'm always interacting with kids, but also with my grandchildren. So my little one, she's 5, and we like to do art things together. So, you know, she's not very good at cleaning up. She's a bit reluctant to clean up. She loves doing all the art stuff. So when, just at the end, where she might just pick up a brush, I'll say, oh, you've started cleaning already. Wow. I was just going to say, let's clean up, but you've already started. So I'm kind of giving her that success before she's earned it, but at the same time, that makes her, okay, Grandma's wanting me to clean up and I'm getting recognized for it, so she'll get into it. So it's digging that little bit deeper. Also in the class, I have one.
And she continues to this day that for the last 6 months or so, as soon as she's got a little bit of rubbish, she goes straight to the bin and she
Shows it.
and kind of looks for some acknowledgement.
Yeah, looks at us and pushes it. And also just another example comes to mind, a little boy in my class who never sits still, never. But, so sometimes I might catch him sitting a little bit still. So I say, I want everyone to sit like Drew. See Drew? And Drew all of a sudden will sit very still. I say, yeah, could everyone please sit like Drew? And the kids get it and Drew gets it. And so you kind of creating his success.
And you can weave the other recognitions into that. So if you saw a specific quality that comes to mind, it shows me that you're actually a very intelligent boy or whatever. Yeah?
So you've got all the recognitions now. And that's what you're working with on the positive side, is these recognitions and getting good at them. And it takes time, but if you continue to practice and just keep reminding yourself, I'm looking for success. I'm looking for success. And that will kind of, and then you can lower the rope if you need to, right down to creative, or just notice what you see. Okay.
And who can explain to me, oh, hold on. I think we've got it in this session. But the reset, is it coming up?
Yes.
Okay, so we talked about the reset, because that's what came to my mind just now. I was thinking the reset is the next slide. So we understand that the reset is a momentary disruption or break in the negative activity. So we just simply try and make it short as possible. The shorter the better. But take it as long as it takes, but the shorter the better. Not that you tell someone to reset for the next 2 hours. And I just thought I'd acknowledge someone. Is it your boy? What's his name? Hey, Balaram. Balaram. Do you know, I noticed when you came in, you were bouncing, because he's a little boy and he's out playing and he came bouncing in. But then somebody tried to just guide him slightly and he settled down and he's been completely controlled and quiet. So that was really pretty special, Balaram, that you were able to pick up what the different atmosphere was and that your mummy needed you to be quiet and you've been so quiet. So, thank you. It's pretty cool. I'm watching his eyes. His eyes are going.
Very nice.
Well done, Balaram. Okay, so where are we going? Reset. Okay. So the reset. You haven't dealt with this at all? I'll give you.
No.
Okay. So I'm sorry, I thought we'd introduced the reset in session 1, but I don't think we have.
We did kind of briefly tell them when we talked about boundaries. Do you remember that? And we used the word reset. And like I said, you can use any of your own words. That's our kind of go-to word.
So again, I don't know if I explained it because it's in the first session, but it's like a computer game. Did we explain that? So if you're playing computer games, if you make a mistake, which the whole system of computer games is pretty much you build on to the next, and then you make a mistake, you drop back, and you do that again until you can go to the next level, and then gradually you go up to the next level. So when you make a mistake in a computer game, the computer doesn't start giving you a lecture. It doesn't tell you that you're a stupid you're a stupid guy and your little brother did it better than you. It doesn't do all that. All you do is you know you've made a mistake, you press a button and you're back in again. It's only a few seconds usually people get it. So that is the idea of this reset. So I'll just... And remember, the reset can be seen in two different ways. One is it's something to control your children, or it's a way of quickly bringing them out of negative behavior back to positive behavior based on the clear boundaries that you've set up with the kids. So, yeah, so I've just explained that. I'll let you read it.
So I'll just
Please.
talk about the clear boundaries. So in a classroom setting, we have rules, and they're very clear and very simple. And it works the same in the home situation. If your boundaries are not clear, your children will manipulate you. And if you follow the rules, sometimes, say you have a boundary, no, what would it be? No, what's a good boundary? What's a good boundary, guys, you've got in your house? A rule.
Sleeping at 9.
No sleeping in.
To bed.
Going to bed at 9.
Okay, so your boundary is that you can't stay up past 9. And you put it in the no, usually, because it makes it clearer. And so you've got that boundary, but if one night you go, they go, oh please, no, please. I mean, there's always exceptions if there's some special function, but if they're manipulating you, then your boundary will be fuzzy and they will argue each time, right? But if your boundary is clear, this is what we do, then you can keep it, you can keep that boundary. So boundaries should be clear and in the negative, not instead of be nice, or be gentle. That's very vague. What is gentle, right? But no punching, no hitting. It's very clear. In my classroom, year 2s, no hurting others with your hands or feet. I've covered everything. Because if it was just with your hands, they might kick. So no hurt. We say our rules every day. No hurting others with your hands or feet. We do the actions, right? So it's very clear.
And if it's bedtime, for example, which is a big challenge now to get the kids to bed. So if Nikhil is saying that it's, so you say it's bedtime, Nikhil, it's time to go to bed. And he says, whatever. He says, no, I don't want to go to bed. And I'm sure you've done it 100 times. After the 6th time, no, you've got to go to bed. And Nikhil says, no, come on a little bit later. And it goes on and on and on and on. It takes half an hour to get him to go to bed. So basically, you've discussed with Nikhil that we agree that it's 9 o'clock. You get your hot milk, you get your cookie, or whatever you're going to do, and we'll do this and do that. And you agree, yeah, Mom, I'm fine. I'll go to bed at 9 o'clock. So then it's a clear boundary. And then if Nikhil starts to, oh, but Mom, you just say, Nikhil, reset. Now, what were you doing over here? Talk to your husband, talk to whoever else is around, or you don't, if there's no one else around, you just get busy with whatever you want to do. Take your energy away from him, and when he's whining, and then you're looking for a moment when he's not whining and complaining. That's where and then when he stops, just momentarily you jump back in and say, Nikhil, you reset yourself. That was really good. I appreciate that so much. It shows how much you love your mommy and how we're going to get you to bed so that you're ready for school tomorrow and you're happy. So you're looking for a success in it for him and for yourself. Does that make some kind of sense? Yeah. Any questions on that so far?
Yeah. Will this work for teenage girl? My daughter, she just played the Mrutaga and she's just entered into 13. So these techniques, we can either apply it for children who are very small.
Yes.
But when they are at that age, I think
You need
something else needs to be done.
Not yes and no. So the same formula will work, but you have to adjust the details of it and the way you would communicate with the older person. So even, and I don't know if I explained it earlier, but this approach works with gang members with nice, and the same fundamental program works at all levels, but we just have to adjust the language and the energy.
And you can sit down with your children, even the little ones you can sit down with, not the real tiny ones, and you can work out your boundaries together. So it's very clear. And then you can also work out the consequence to, if they break a rule, you can work it out with them so it's clear.
In advance.
In advance, right? That's very important. If you can do that in advance. So our granddaughter is also 12.
What's your daughter's name?
Gayatri.
Stay with us, Gayatri. So, Gayatri, no, you can just stay right where you are. Gayatri, stay with you can go in a moment, but I'm just saying, sorry, I've lost something. Yeah. I just wanted to acknowledge you, because you came into a room or in the middle of something, you didn't cause any disturbance, you came quietly over, had something to ask mine, and you chose to be really nicely controlled, didn't cause any problem. What does that show us? What does that show us? What's a quality that could show you? See if you can think of a quality that Gayatri possesses, a certain quality. In this moment, remember, it's not about who she is forever, it's just in this moment. Who can think? Come on, see if you can think. Sorry?
Peaceful, considerate, respectful. All those.
And I'm going to suggest, as soon as you get to those qualities, it goes to your heart. If we said, oh, good job, you came in and that was cool, and you think, thank you, but you don't really know what you're actually saying, but you know it's kind of good. But when you hear that, what were those words you used? Shout it out.
Respectful.
Respectful. Considerate. Peaceful.
Like that one, peaceful.
How did that feel? It's nice, isn't it? And that's what we're kind of discussing. And it goes to your heart. That's what we call it, the nurturing the heart approach. And you think, wow. And it basically, it's just like holding up a mirror. And I say, can you see the good qualities that you have? And it's really nice.
You can go.
Thank you so much.
She's like,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So, and can you hold that question just for one second? Thank you. Try this with your husband. I'm really serious, absolutely serious. You'll melt his heart. If you, as a lady, and for the guys as a couple, many, try it for your wife. So the way that you did that, you brought my dinner over, but you didn't just bring it over, but I could see you were so gentle and nice in the way that you did it, and it shows me you must really care for me, or you, whatever it is, try that, and you'll be way ahead of the game, guys.
I think I am doing good in that. That's why I get more varieties.
And again, someone may say, are you just using manipulation and flattering someone? So if that's, the heart has got the flattery and manipulation, that's what will be received. But if your heart is genuinely seeing that quality, the qualities that you're saying, they'll get that. It has to be genuine. It's the same with the kids. But at any level, it's got to be real. It's got to be authentic. Okay. And you, Mataji, sorry, thank you.
Like my daughter is also 13 now.
She's what?
13.
13, yes.
So I have been doing this, telling them in advance what is expected of them, and they comply to it.
I'm going to pause. Can I pause you right there? So one thing is telling them what's expected, and they comply. I'm getting an energy around that, and it's natural as a mother. Somebody has to. You're a parent, right? You know, you're not a kid. You're the parent. They've got kids' role to play, but that word we use, negotiating with the kids before we kind of make a. So you might have a clear idea what has to happen, but it's good to talk with your daughter. His daughter was it? To talk with her. I'm thinking around, what was this, can you use a specific subject? Was it around something specific?
Like like Prabhu, suppose there is a class which is supposed to happen every week at certain time.
Okay.
So she knows that this is going to happen and she will do it. Like she won't give any resistance or she won't. So, but if sometimes the teacher is unavailable or they just say, oh, can I take the class now? And then you have to, then I feel under pressure and she will very confidently tell me, you didn't tell me before, I can't do it. So it's like, like when they're small, you can tell them that this is the change.
Okay, so if there's a change in plans, help. I'm a man, by the way. I think differently, men. But are you saying if there's everything's good if it happens according to the plan, but when something is changed,
Yes.
then what she says
If
is
she's not happy,
okay.
she's
Well,
like,
that's
I don't want to do it, I can't do it. I was like, no, but it's okay, we are paying for it, that's okay, it's just a one-hour change, you can do it. No, I'm sorry, I can't. So
So
it
you
makes
can-
it very hard for me to.
So one thing is you can celebrate that you have such a powerful daughter, like her mother, and she's able to, and you've allowed her, I'll nurture you, that you've allowed her to be able to, without being disrespectful. If she's disrespectful, that's another discussion. But if she's trying to respectfully say, look, Mama, then that's very good. You've got a lot of good things to work with there. So again, back to your question, so you're asking...
So my question is that when, like, not every time you have clear boundaries set for everything.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just happens in the moment.
Okay, great.
And that's not accepted by the child because they feel you didn't tell me before, I was not ready for it.
Okay.
And then how to
How
help
to
them
do it.
understand that,
Yeah, so you might have to negotiate, and you might say, look, this time, what's your daughter's name? Haripriya. So you might say, Haripriya, this time I can hear you, and you don't have to do it. You may decide that or not. That's you're the parent, you have to do this. The next time it happens, next week or whatever, something else happens, and then you might have to say to her, like, I understand this is difficult for you, and I really appreciate that, and I don't want to let this happen again and again, because that will be the case too. If every time there's something and you just push her and push her, she thinks, oh, I'm just getting pushed around all the time. Yeah? Play with it, have fun with it, and be a parent. At 1, 2.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
So this is about the qualities that you've been calling out. So when Gayatri entered, you called out the qualities.
Yes.
And it's amazing how you identify such qualities and moments to call it out. It may not come naturally to
Yes.
people like me. What do we do to practice it, or how do we bring it out? And it's also not very, we are not very open in terms of communication and, praising others in such a way. Because it's family, it's just, you gotta do it. That's how we are respectful, it's just, that thought process is always there.
Are you married? Are you married?
Yeah, to her.
Are you married?
2 kids.
Forgive them, please. It's, isn't it? So yeah, it will feel, and you can come in on this in a minute, it will feel mechanical, and it will be received mechanically too, because you think, oh gosh, it sounds so contrived, sort of thing that you're doing. But if you practice it, you'll get used to it, and your wife and your husband, if you push it back that way, will see the sincerity, if it's genuine, and you'll become, your language around finding these qualities will expand if you practice. So I've not quite answered your question. You can come back a little bit.
I had that same feeling as you. I remember thinking, oh, it sounds so cheesy all the time.
Do you know what cheesy means?
You know what cheesy means?
That's
It's like, cheesy means like, it's too much.
sickly. But that's
It's sickly, yeah.
too much.
But it was just because, I was changing the way I was dealing with the children. And after a while, because I got such good results from it, after a while it became my default setting. It became natural. But it did take a little practice. So I just thought, okay, I'll keep going on this, because whenever I do it, I get such great results. So, and now I don't like it if I fall back into that, just do it now, or, sorry. Yes, I don't feel that that's me anymore. So it takes time and practice, because we've got our natural patterns, the way we deal with things. So I get what you mean, but I would just say, just stick with it. You don't have to be perfect all the time. You have to be forgiving to yourself in this as well. Be kind to yourself. But it will become natural for you.
And the fact that you're both in the room together is really good, because you're on the same page, you're hearing the same information. So you can try practicing with each other too. This is becoming a relationship seminar here. But and you can say, look, I really, and go to your heart. If it comes from the heart, it just transform everything. And you can say, oh, look, I'm trying to say this, but I don't know how to say it, and I'm mucking up on it. Just that will be a deposit in your emotional bank account with each other, and you'll get better and better at it. And we can't do too much of this. Yeah? I have to remind myself often, with my wife, we've been doing this for so long, and you sometimes forget to nurture the person that's closest to you, so you have to. You can always do with a top up, a little top up of being acknowledged. Thanks for the nice question. Was somebody else did a question? Yes.
Yes. My question is how to set the appropriate boundaries and consequences according to the age of, let's say, we are dealing with the 3-4-year-old. So what would be our expectation? Sit for half an hour and listen at this.
Sorry, up until half an hour I got you, and then it dropped out.
Different ages?
Yes.
Is this what you mean?
Yeah,
Different ages are going to...
set the boundaries and the consequences according to the age, what would be expected from the, let's say, we are dealing with 3-4-year-old, so probably then sit for half an hour and listen will be
too much. Yeah.
So how do we understand the level of the kid and which consequence is appropriate? They should not feel like they are punished.
Yeah, well, that is up to you. You know what you want, what you can handle with your child and your child's age. We'll give you an example of when our grandchild, Murali, was just probably about 1.5, 2, right? And we were living in an extended family situation, and she would crawl from a high chair onto the table and just grab things. And
that's the dining table.
The dining table.
Crawl over the dining table.
And at one stage I was like, I can't interfere, I'm the mother-in-law, right? But I said to my son and daughter-in-law, is this okay with you? Because if it was, it's got nothing to do with me, and if they're happy that the kid's crawling all over the table, and it's not a problem for them. But when I asked them, they went, no, we're not happy. I said, okay, so we need a boundary. So she was only 1.5, we can't sit her down, give her, tell her you can't do that. So what we did was, the boundary was, every time she did it, we'd nicely pick her up and pop her back in the chair. Then we'd clap. You're in the chair, and she'd look around, she got clapped, and so after a few times, she stopped going on the table. So we just kept being consistent. It was a boundary. I said, we don't have to say anything to her, she's just a baby. But that's our boundary. Now, if she was older, or it was some other problem appropriate to the age, you have to work out what works in your house for your particular circumstances. Okay, does that make sense?
And the main thing is the idea of the reset or getting back on track. That's, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Remember that resets are not a form of punishment. So you see yourself making mistakes. So if you say to your child, can you reset? And they don't reset. No, I want you to reset. I've told you that when I say reset, you have to, when you start going in that direction, you're focusing on negative behavior, putting energy into it. So try to, it's not a punishment. It's just a momentary interruption in what's happening right now, and you are looking not to leave it there. Yeah, I've told you to reset, and then you walk off and forget about your child. So the child's sitting there for half an hour, and you come back and say, "Oh, great reset." No, that's not what it's about. Just getting them to be quiet. That doesn't mean that. It's just as quickly as you can get them to be back on track, and they'll pick it up pretty quick. When I'm asked to reset, if I reset, Mum or Dad doesn't keep me stuck here, punish me in time out for the next hour or two. So they allow me to be back in, and they realise, oh yeah, I should have done that, and they want to get back into playing and doing stuff, and like us. Yes, Mataji.
Sorry, sir. Is it probably I didn't hear that part? Like the research is like the same thing of timeout, or
It's like a miniature timeout.
like how many, like 1 minute?
No,
No, 1 second.
1 second. Or 2, or 5, or 7, or a minute. It
Not long.
depends how long it's going to be, but you're trying to make it as quickly as possible. And as we discussed in these different techniques, you can even create them. So say, what's your child's name?
Variasi.
Oh.
Variasi or Tulasi.
Tulsi. Tulsi, okay. So I'm just trying to think now, where was I going with that? Tulsi. Yeah. So Tulsi, she does something, you say, Tulsi, can you reset please? And you just need to turn your head away, just disconnect the energy. You've just said to reset. Soon as you can, and Tulsi's trying to possibly just in a little, like, how old is she?
One is 4, one is...
No, Tulsi, how old is she?
Yeah, one is 4 years old. They say 4, yeah.
4.
4. Okay. So so you turn your energy away and then come back to you can come back in a second practice and say, Tulsi, that was a great reset. And Tulsi's thinking, I haven't even figured out about reset, but she's got. And if you're genuinely appreciating, and then she'll live into it. She'll say, oh, okay, Mum, thanks, and play with it. You'll get it. Right, where are we going?
Sorry, I just have one question. In the last slide, it said unceremonious reset. Like, what's unceremonious? What
Means
does that
without a big ceremony, without a big energy.
just naturally just reset yourself.
Yeah,
And then
Yes.
just, good reset, that's it.
yeah.
Yes.
And remember, and remember, if you can, when you say good reset, if that's fine, you can get away with that, but you'll learn more and more to embellish that by finding maybe a quality that your child has displayed at that time to reset themselves. You might say, that was a really fabulous reset. You were really upset. I know you were very concerned about it, but you just managed to come back into yourself in whatever way it happens. So it's a good opportunity. That's where you put your energy. You can lay on all kinds of energy there.
I think more than them, I need a reset every now and then.
Exactly, and if you do that and say, Mum's just resetting herself, you know, then the children are very enamored by that because, wow, you do it, you can do it. There's a good example. Yeah, they won't look down on you for doing that. You know, they'll actually look up to you. So it's a great example, that one.
I don't know if I shared this earlier in a classroom setting. I did that with a bunch of children, and there was maybe 30 children, and this problem was there, and this kid was doing something there, and this one, and I was hey, hold on, and then I realized I was needing to reset myself. So I said to the kids, "Does anyone know what Mr. Howie?" That's my name. Yeah. I said, "What Mr. Howie should do right now?" And the kids would, "Reset, Mr. Howie?" I said, "Yep, I better reset." I just took a breath and showed them to get back on track. So the kids love that. It's a really,
You're human. You're human,
Yeah.
and you're showing it, and you're setting a good example.
and it sets the game for the kids, that the kids say, wow, Mum and Dad are into this too. They're willing to reset, and it's not just a manipulation and squishing me, but they do it too. So what's his name?
Madana Gopal.
Madan Gopal. I don't even need to say anything. So good, you're just keeping yourself, you're not making very much noise, but you're trying to keep sort of okay, keep active, doing your thing. And you're sitting hearing me, and that's, yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, and it's not easy to speak to an adult and he goes, thanks. Much appreciated. Okay,
So,
so.
now we're going into the next.
Okay, so the next one I'm not going to spend any time on. I'm going to, okay. Okay. Okay.
Leave it, but sometimes we can get, what's the word, fixated on the reset. And it's actually just a simple thing. So there will be times, the next one is called refusal to reset.
Especially your children are older.
Yeah.
You.
And you just do the same thing, like a broken record practically. Don't give them the energy, don't get involved in the power struggle. I'll give you an example. I was homeschooling a group during COVID, homeschooling a group of children, and this one little boy, notorious for not following, when I started teaching, he would crawl under a table. So, you've got to be boundaries, so I'd say, Ishan, come on up. He'd go like this. Okay, so when it's break time, it's you and me. Is that all right? He went, okay. So I didn't give him any energy. I just kept with the other kids. When break time came, I'm like, sorry, Ishan, it's you and me, okay? And it only took one time following that boundary. When the next time he crawled under the table again, I said, okay, again, I think you like being with me at break time. He said, no, I don't. I want to play. And I said, okay, up to you, your choice. And before I knew it, he came back out and he quietly, and when I was actually turning away from him, so I didn't make I just let him come back up, but I just went to him, good choice, Isha. And he did his work and he was able to go out and play. So, that's the refusal. You stick with your rules, with your boundaries, but you don't give it a lot of energy, and as soon as they comply or get taken, you can energize them.
Nice, nice. I like the way you just slipped in, good choice.
Yeah.
So you didn't make a big thing about it, but it reinforced his action, and yeah, nice.
Yeah. Okay, so do we just read through?
Kind of.
Yeah. So, do you want to read?
Okay. Be careful not to get into a power struggle. How are we going for time?
It
See if
is
you
quarter
can-
to
see if you can
12,
look at
and
what
we're
time.
supposed to, after question, we're supposed to questions from 11:30 to 11:45, so we're a bit behind
I
time.
thought there might be.
So,
Okay, we'll just.
we're nearly there.
Excuse me. He doesn't know about what he said. Did he just come?
No, it's the same little boy. He just took
I took his jacket off.
Yeah.
Sorry.
He's doing very
Great
well.
reset.
Yeah, straight away.
Yeah, you just.
You're good at this.
Yeah. I thought somebody turned up from nowhere. He just took his jumper off. Okay. I can't help myself. I'll just tell you a little story. In our advanced training, it's a number of years ago in America, there was a lady shared her experience with her son, who was either late teens or early 20s. So he's quite grown up sort of fellow. And they were having some big argument, and the boy said that he was refusing to reset himself. He said, I'm out of here. And he slammed the door and went out into the night. And he didn't return. He didn't come back until the next morning. And when he came back, she was so expert at this process. She said, I love the way you've managed to reset yourself. You took the time that you needed to calm down, and you've come home, and welcome, and what are we going to do? And she just ignored it. That way he felt the fight was over, and he was able to come back in. So it can be, so we've got to use our intelligence to see how to dance with this approach. Sometimes you will be pushed, but if you can keep that low energy, don't accelerate the flow. G'day. You're back. Good man. Okay, where are we going? Oh, you can't see them. Usually you put the notes, but they're not showing up. Okay. Okay, so the last little statement on that, if they're refusing, so remember right back at the beginning, they want your energy. So if they're refusing to reset and so on, it's possible that you're not giving enough energy, you're not acknowledging and giving them the energy they want to get from you. So we've used the term, it's not juicy enough in time in. So that might be an indication for you to reflect, am I seeing them and showing them that they're being seen, or am I trying to find the qualities and reflecting them up, holding a mirror up for them to see their good qualities? Am I doing that? Or did I used to do it and I stopped doing it and I'm still expecting the good result, but I'm actually not doing what I'm supposed to do? Because that's easy too, isn't it? We know shastrically to create something. Lord Brahma, mode of passion, to create something, but Lord Vishnu is maintaining. So we can create some inspiration, but to maintain it requires focus. But just keep reminding yourself how different it is when you utilize this approach. Don't forget that, because reverting back to the other way is not a good option, I suggest. Okay. Okay. Done. Okay, and then briefly, just winding up before we get some more questions, I think. Child's experience with this approach, how does it feel to the child? They have a sense of self-worth, self-esteem, if you want to call it that, not false pride. We're not trying to puff up your children. That's not what we're talking about here. They have a feeling of self-worth that builds their inner wealth. They become rich in their inner abilities. They feel a sense of acceptance and success in their lives. And click this back down. Next one. Common mistakes. Vimala, you might want to take this one. Yeah?
Okay, so common mistakes, we've actually kind of covered it, but low rate of recognition. You think, well, this is what they're supposed to be doing. Why should I recognize them for that? This is just what they're supposed to do. So you kind of tend to, not give the recognitions when they're doing the right thing.
Yeah, my wife's supposed to cook the dinner. Why do I have to tell her that it's really wonderful how she did?
Or I'll wait, sometimes depends, I'll wait till he's consistently every time doing whatever it is, instead of, recognizing each good choice. So that can be a problem. And not delivering it with enough energy, just like, good job, well done. They're not getting that energy, they're not feeling your excitement, your approval. So that can be a problem. And
unclear boundaries.
Yeah. Unclear boundaries, we've talked about that, that's so important.
And leaking negativity. Reset. I told you to reset.
Why don't you reset like your sister or
And we agreed that this was the bedtime, and now you start. We agreed it was 9 o'clock, but now I've had to tell you 10 times. No, that's not the child's problem. It's our problem. We're the ones that are mucking up. The child's naturally going to push the boundaries as much as they can. Okay, and applying their approach, we'll just run through this real quick. You might feel awkward at first trying to do it, just like riding the bike. You're going to fall off the bike, get on the bike. Keep coming back to it. Don't expect to get it right all the time, especially in the beginning. And you'll think, this doesn't work. You might think that, but don't go there.
I know at school, you know how they're always having more and more professional development and more strategies, and when they ask me, do you want to do anything like in classroom management, I say, no, I've got my system. It works when I do it, and if I don't do it, it doesn't work. So it always works when I do it. So it's like being consistent with it and getting back on track yourself, resetting yourself. And yes, that one you could always salvage a slip up. We've talked about that. Just reset yourself, apologize. It's always, you know, Mum I wasn't in my best form there. That's not how I want to be, and I'm sorry. That will mean a lot to kids. You're setting a great example for them.
Okay, and overall, over time, this will become your natural default setting, as Vimala's been saying. You won't feel satisfied in your old default setting.
Yeah.
So you keep coming back to it. Okay, that is our presentation. Yeah. So where do we go now, Vimala, please?
So if anyone's got any questions, we can have a few questions again, and then we're going to just go over a few points. So, yes.
It's a quick one. Sometimes Prabhu, because it's very if I recognize some Burakyu, let's say, yes, you are eating without throwing out of your plate.
Yes.
Then in 1 minute she starts doing the opposite. And like, what am I supposed to do?
If she does the opposite.
Sometimes I recognize something or you're doing it very well, she starts doing the opposite in 1 minute.
Well, then you would reset her, just like this is the boundary, go back to the reset, and then, you know, give her another chance and see if you can, because she wants your energy, she wants more energy. So she's going for the, I get more, make sure you don't give that too much energy when she throws it. No, because she'll go for that rather than, oh, you're eating without throwing it off your plate. So you've got to make sure you really up that energy maybe. And when she does it, reset yourself and turn away. Whatever she has to do, pick up your pieces, whatever, and turn away. Don't give that. And when she's done that, well done, you're back on track. Okay?